Chapter 6. ¿Qué pasó? Manny, the Domino King, peered at Sierra across the game table in the junk lot. Rutilio and Mr. Jean-Louis sat on either side of him, each decked out, as always, in their best guayaberas and Stetson hats. 2 empty chairs sat at the corners of the table, one for Lazaro and one for Papa Acevedo, both long-time domino warriors now departed. "I was going to ask you the same thing," Sierra said. "Trouble at school, Sierra?" asked Mr. Jean-Louis. "Public school is a cesspool of poisonous bile." Manny threw his hands up. "Cállate, viejo. The child needs her education. Don't ruin it for her just because you dropped out of kindergarten." "When I'm finished this move, Manny," Mr. Jean-Louis declared, "you will be in that nursing home on Clason Avenue, rotting like a forgotten cabbage." "If you take any longer," Rutilio chortled, "Sierra here will be in the nursing home by the time you're done. Anyway, your entire family tree is a sad weed that I pulled from my garden and spit on before I feed it to the rats." "School's out for the summer," Sierra said, "and y'all are ridiculous. Hey, I was wondering what happened to that guy old Burnham because..." "Nothing." Manny shifted his considerable weight on the little wooden chair and fussed with his skinny goatee. The other old gentlemen exchanged frowns. It was the only time Sierra had ever seen them look seriously at each other. "No pasa nada." "What do you mean, nothing? You said he was missing in the searchlight this morning." "Yep, he's missing," Manny said. Mr. Jean-Louis smacked a domino on the board. Rutilio cursed under his breath. "That's it?" Sierra crossed her arms over her chest. Manny kept his eyes on the board. Dominoes clacked against each other. "All right," Sierra said. "I'm going to go paint. Manny, let me know when you feel more talkative." "Make sure you cover that nasty tower with every wild monster you can imagine, Sierra," Mr. Jean-Louis said. "Top to bottom," Rutilio added. "I'll drink to that," Manny said. They each produced a brown paper bag with a bottle inside. One by one, the 3 friends poured a little splash of rum out for Papa Acevedo and then swigged. It's the wall, I think, that bothers me the most," Manny continued. "We used to be able to see all the way down the block, past Carlos's corner store, to the church, and then down beyond that, the hospital. Ahora, carajo. The blankness of void, vacant, and stupid." "If you don't make a move soon," Rutilio said, "I will make sure that that's what they write on your gravestone." "It's not even my go, coño, it's Lenel's." "Here lies Manuelito," Mr. Jean-Louis said. "The blankness of void, vacant, and stupid." He shrugged. "He was somewhat liked." He and Rutilio crossed themselves. Manny grumbled and shuffled his pieces. "Goodbye, weirdos," Sierra said. Papa Acevedo's face could barely be seen now. Sierra looked up at it as she walked to the foot of the tower. If no one would answer her questions, she would do what she'd always done when people she cared about stonewalled her. She'd lose herself in art. She'd already finished most of the dragon's mouth, its lips snarled back to reveal huge razor teeth around an explosion of hellfire. Today it was time to get the eyes on point. Sierra put her headphones on and let the crashing salsa metal fusion of her brother Juan's band Culebra wash over her as she climbed the scaffolding. "Cuando la luna llena," a voice crooned, "mata al anciano sol." It was all she could hear before Juan's thrash of electric guitar exploded across the song, blotting out the rest of the lyrics. The creep-tastic night before still lingered in her mind, but the music kept the chills at bay. Sierra set up her paints and dabbed a few slender blobs of white on the dragon's pupil. When she was done with the eye, she'd start filling in some of the scales along the neck. It was more monotonous work than the face details, but it had to get done. Cymbals crashed. Juan's wailing guitar and the swirl of keyboards all screeched to a halt. "Mira que los enemigos se caen," came an urgent whisper. "La voz del espíritu llama, y la energía sube como." And then bam! Culebra burst back in as one. Guitars, bass, drums, and keys, a single relentless electric roar. Sweat poured down her back, and she was glad she'd worn a t-shirt with the sleeves torn off and shoulders open. She tucked her fro under a red bandana and removed all the jangly bracelets and necklaces she usually wore. Sierra dipped her brush in the white paint again just as the scaffolding shivered. She took off her headphones. Someone was coming up. "Hello?" she called. "Hey." Robbie's face appeared a floor below her. "Robbie!" He climbed onto the platform next to Sierra and paused to catch his breath. "I was worried about you last night. You disappeared." Sierra put her hands on her hips. "Actually, you disappeared, sir. What I did was called running for my life. I looked for you." Robbie raised his shoulders all the way up to his ears. "I swear, I just..." "Uh-huh." Sierra raised an eyebrow at him and realized she was enjoying Robbie's discomfort. "Here." She handed him a paint roller. "You can make it up to me by laying down some primer and then painting something cool over there to go along with this dragon. Anything I want? Go to town." "Nice." Robbie crouched over the tray, popped open a can of white primer, and gooped some in. "I mean, the thing is, I was really scared too, especially when you disappeared and ran for my life." "Right, when you ran for your life and I wasn't sure what to do." He covered the roller and started spreading paint evenly across the wall. "Dang, you really know what you're doing, huh, Robbie?" He shrugged. "You know, I've done some murals here and there. Anyway, Any I've seen?" Robbie stopped painting and looked at her. "Actually," he nodded toward Papa Acevedo's frightened face. "You did that? I had no idea." Yeah. He shook his head and turned back to the wall. "What's wrong, Robbie?" "Nothing." Ugh, Sierra clenched her teeth. No one ever wanted to talk about what was bothering them. She swallowed a sigh of frustration. Who was she to Robbie, anyway? He didn't owe her any explanations. She turned back to the dragon eye. "I mean," Robbie said. He was facing the wall, his eyes closed. "I don't know how to talk about it." "Does it have something to do with the murals fading?" He nodded sadly. "You noticed, huh?" "I saw it, and yesterday there was a..." Sierra took a deep breath, felt Robbie's eyes on her. "There was a tear. It came out of Papa Acevedo's eye and slid down his face." Ever so slightly, Robbie smiled, but he looked like he was about to burst into tears. "You saw it?" Sierra nodded. He didn't call her crazy. He knew. It felt good. For a few seconds, their eyes held each other's. "So you want to tell me what the Shadowshapers are?" Sierra said. Robbie looked away. One of Juan's heavy metal songs started blasting from Sierra's pocket. She made a face at Robbie. "To be continued." She stepped away and tapped her phone. "Yeah, what's up, B?" Then he sounded excited. "That cat you asked me to check up on? Dr. Wick?" "Yeah?" Sierra walked quickly to the other side of the scaffolding, cradling the phone with her shoulder. "Ole!" Manny yelled from the ground where he was laying down some more primer. "A safety first, nena. And we're about to break for lunch, so let me know what you want me to order from Janos." "Okay, Manny." Sierra waved at him. "What about him, B?" "He's a Columbia professor, or was. How'd you find out?" "This amazing thing they have now. It's a web, and it's mad wide, like worldwide." "Wow," Sierra rolled her eyes. "I could have Googled his ass myself. I wanted you to, go deeper. Get all Benny Nerdtronic and get me his ATM pin and favorite colors or something." "Whatever, girl, listen. I need you to suppress the urge to make a corny pun about what I'm about to say." "I'll do my best." He has a Wikipedia page. Sierra bit her lower lip. You're no fun at all. Believe me, whatever you were gonna say, I already thought of it. Anyway, there's not much on there except that he's a big anthropology whiz, expert in something called urban spirituality systems, went to Harvard, worked at Columbia, and then fell off the side of the earth. Dude's old-fashioned for his generation. It's not like he was out there liking people's angry gerbil videos or nothing. So that's as far as it goes, at least on the internet streets anyway. There is, however, one place where there's quite an extensive collection of Wick memorabilia, or Wickabilia, as we say in the field. Benny, I made you promise no corny puns. I made no such promise. That wasn't even a... You know what? Just go on. He has a paper trail. I know, seems so archaic, right? It's at the Columbia Anthropology Archive. Sweet! Good luck getting in, though. Not like you can just dougie on through the front gates. Ha! I got people that are experts at these things. Thanks for the help, B. An anthropology expert. Maybe Wick had been studying Grandpa Lazaro's Shadowshaper thing, whatever it was. If she could find him, maybe he could help her figure out what was going on. Maybe he'd know how to find Lucera. Robbie has started painting another intricate Robbie design, some kind of skeleton woman unraveling across the tower wall. It was perfectly creepy. Sierra sized him up. I'm not through interrogating you, bro. Robbie kept his eyes on the painting. I know, sis. I'll be back later. She shook her head, scrolled quickly through her contacts, and made a call. What it do, Sierra, baby? Uncle Neville sounded chipper as ever. How you feel about doing your goddaughter a solid on this lovely Saturday morning and taking a quick ride uptown?